Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bunnysays. Thank you for joining me for another edition of Minecraft. There's something I did that I reinstalled Minecraft and fleshed everything out and was trying to get some things working. So please bear with me while I try to get the controls set up a little bit. One of the things is, well, I specifically wanted to show you this. If you go to the radar, you can press mobs to display, and you could show. Now this is with voxel map. You can pick what you want to see. So if you don't want to see any enemies and stuff like that, or you know, I don't like seeing bats, so the bats sort of irritate me. So I turn the bats off. Pretty much everything else goes, really. But now, one of the things is if you hit escape, you'll get the usual options for Minecraft. In my voxel map, I have to hit M for the map and then go to options. Then these are the options just for voxel map. And of course, there's controls. I put toggle mobs on V so I can, if you look at the mini map, you'll see all the chickens and the cows and stuff disappear and stuff. I turned all the enemies off, so because I don't want to see the enemies on the map. I want them to be sort of a surprise, you know. And of course is, you know, most of the stuff I tend to leave alone. Just the toggle maps, control, zoom, or something like that in the radar. Yeah, you can turn it on and off with the V. I have hostiles off, players and neutrals and stuff like that I have on. And again, you can press mobs to display, and you can, if you couldn't care less if there are pigs around or cows or whatever, you could just, you know, unclick them, you know, like that. So now I have the key V where I could just make them disappear. They do have a tiny bit of hit performance sometimes. If I'm like really running real far and expanding the map and showing like huge amounts of map. Okay, one minute, that's something I'm gonna have to do here. Menu. Oh, here it is. I have it on tab. So I can do that. Usually I just leave M. Wow, you can see that pretty well, that river. And all the stuff here. I've been making the rounds lately. In the other, I don't know if you'll have heard them lately, but in the other videos, but there's been sort of there's a change in sort of what's going on in my life, so I won't be able to put up videos at the same. I won't be putting up videos like every day or at the same rate I've been doing. And I'm going to cut back on a bunch of videos. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. I'm not going to go into it. I think you could tell in the last couple of videos I haven't been particularly happy in the last few videos, maybe, and I'll still make videos. I'm still gonna make them. I'm not saying that I'm stopping making videos, but just don't expect them on an everyday schedule or even a regular schedule. Something I want to try to do is keep doing a couple of Minecraft videos a week, if I can, or actually more like do a Minecraft video and maybe something else, one other video, or like a different game. So maybe keep 2 videos going a week or something. But don't expect the schedule that I've had before. I'm going to have to go back to the way it used to be, where I was only putting up a couple videos a week, so. Thought I had an axe with silk touch here. No. But it's just been, it's just the way it is. So in the meantime, I'm going to sit here and try to I'm going to just relax a little bit and build up those houses, I think. I thought I put the axe here, but oh well. I'm gonna run on back to the village and start putting up some more houses. See if we get some villages to repopulate. What I did do, I was playing a little bit. Somebody mentioned a mod, I can't remember his name offhand. I remember who he is, but not his name, his handle. But he said, why don't you try playing with a mod? And I don't particularly like playing with mods, but there is something I did want to do. I saw and I thought, oh, that might be something I could do. There was a food mod, like where there was different foods, different crops and stuff you could grow, and food you could make. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's great. I would love to do that. I could put out like different, crops and food and junk and grow stuff, and it would be like practically like Stardew Valley or something. where I could be making, ooh, he scared me. Well, these guys just love to hang up here, don't they? You gotta get down. And, yeah, I'm gonna put a couple more houses here, 2 more houses here. And I thought, I thought that'd be pretty good, so I thought I'd give that a shot. And it's just food and crops. I was experimenting with it. That's the reason why I reinstalled the game, because some of my game was also messed up from years and years of me never from having it from playing it to, I don't know, 1.7 or something. So, it was it needed a clean refresh, And I thought, okay, you know what, I'll do that, and because I could never get Forge working, and you need Forge for it, Oh, I fell. I just couldn't get Forge working at all, so I could never get mods working, since practically every mod needs Forge, And so I was like, I'll reinstall everything, and of course I saved my save games, and I reinstalled everything, and then I reinstalled Forge, and sure enough it worked. I was like, great, it worked. And man, these are gonna be really tiny houses. So I was like, okay, whatever, I don't care. Let me see here. I don't care. And I tried it. It's called something Pam's food mod, something like that. I was like, all right, I'll try that. Pam's food craft or something like that. I was like, I'll try it. And I have to admit, I started a new thing up, a little world, just to check it out. And boy, I spent like a couple hours just trying to figure out how to get the food going and stuff, but it was fun, you could plant different trees and make all kinds of different food, like, food that I thought was, I always thought, like, why isn't this here? Like, why can't, like, fried eggs, like, why can't you get an egg and fry it in a furnace, like, I was like, why can't you just take eggs and fry them? And why, and have them available as food, Why do I always have to make steak and get cows, Which would sort of always irritate me. Because the one thing I'm always doing is that I do the same thing over and over again. I'm trying to look for cows. I'm trying to, one of the first things I do is try to get cows, and what I do is I start trying to grow like grain bread so that I could, so that I could feed the cows, so I could get a whole bunch of cows, so I could get steak, and so I could have a stack of steaks so I could run around, and I don't feel comfortable running around unless I have like half a stack of steaks. Because, if you're running far and you're trying to find jungle or something like that, you're trying to find some different biomes. You're using up your food real fast, or if you're in a dungeon, and you're getting hit, and you gotta eat to like get your health back. Like that type of thing. So I was like, well, I mean, you could do chickens, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just would rather. I just end up always doing. Cows. So I started looking for cows all over the place, and it's always the same sort of. That's the quick pattern for me. It's like, hurry up, set up a farm where I'm growing grain, and then hurry up and get a hold of some cows. And I'm like, it's sort of boring, So, I was like, well, this is cool because you can make like this thing you can do like. You could make stuff like dim sum or curry chicken or like all kinds of crazy stuff, and you can make there are fruit trees, and you can get like say like apples or strawberries off fruit trees, and you just pick them, and you could make a like juicer, and you could press the like strawberries into a juicer and make strawberry juice, like a strawberry smoothie. And when you drink it, your guy will actually run faster for like 30 seconds. So it has tiny little benefits. I mean, 30 seconds isn't long, but it'll have like nice little tiny benefits and stuff, So I'm like, that's pretty good, to me, and it's fun. There's like tons of different crops, and there's different, soybeans. You can make milk. You can make corn chowder. I love corn. I happen to like soup a lot. I'm a big soup guy. I like soup, like pea soup, and I love pea soup and French onion soup and corn chowder and like warm winter soups, So, I'm like, so I was like making cream. I was making cream of corn, which is like cream corn is like one of my favorite. Like corn chowder is one of my favorite soups. And I was making that. You can make popcorn, which I was like, wow, really? I thought that was just awesome. I was like, wow, you could literally make popcorn. And stuff like that. I was like, and I was just like really, like just totally happy with it. The problem is that I was spending all the time just growing crops and doing nothing else but growing crops. I wasn't like, I literally didn't leave my spawn area. For like the couple hours I played, I didn't leave the spawn area at all. I just sat there and was just, you know, doing that type of thing. So I thought maybe next episode of this, maybe I will introduce it. And I won't go too crazy on it or anything, but you know what? I'm gonna put a space there. But yeah, I thought that'd be totally fun to show you the different foods and stuff. I think it's called, I'm pretty sure it's called Pam's Cooking Craft or something like that. It's not like Minecraft, Cookcraft. And it's totally, I think it's totally worth it. I was having a lot of fun. Just trying to figure out the different stuff you can make, you know. You make like General Tso's chicken, you know, curry chicken, and I was thinking it's just all the stuff that like I kept on getting mad at, like an egg. I was like, why can't I fry an egg in a furnace, you know, like, and you can do that. What you do is you have to make certain things like a pot or in a skillet, in a saucepan, in a fruit presser. You have to make like little machines, and then you could throw, like with a skillet, you could throw like an egg, and you in a crafting table you put the skillet and the egg, and it makes a fried egg, you know. And of course you could, you know, add more and more stuff and make more and more complicated foods, and they're not like crazy. You don't suddenly get crazy health back from it. Like a fried egg only gives you like 2 ham bones. Actually, I think it's like 2 ham bones. The popcorn only gives you like 1. Juice only gives you 1, like that type of thing. So it's not like, you know, it's not OP, you know, it's not crazy OP. So like, you know, I was like, and it's just it's fun for variation and stuff, and I find I was using more of the environment that was around me. There's also fishing stuff. You can make fishing traps if you don't like fishing. You can make a fishing trap and throw it down, put fishing bait in there, and it'll automatically collect like, you know, 10 or 12 fish. Different types of fish that you can make like sushi out of, you know, stuff like that, you know. And I thought that, I was like, wow, that's like, you know, I was like having a great time with that. Like, you know what, I'm going to I want space in between these 2 buildings here. So what I'm going to do is have tiny little houses. Oop. Nope, not that far. But yeah, I want to try that for a mod. I think that's the first mod I'm ever going to really use. I really didn't. I mean, to be honest, I was like sort of a mod newbie. I really only barely knew how to make mods. I mean, barely know how to use mods in this game, so because I could never get Forge to work, I could never sort of like really get mods to work, so. And I didn't want mods that were like all kinds of crazy, doing all kinds of crazy things. I just wanted something like, you know, like a food mod, like that's it. You know? No, it's like, oh, why am I not sleeping? Okay. And I thought that's perfect. I was like, that's great. It just, you know, gives me some different foods and some fun food stuff to do, and you could plant cherry trees and stuff like that, and you know, gives you little fun stuff to do and all this. And oh, what? Oh, where did you come from? Sorry, that'd be like, you know, that'd sort of make me happy a little bit, I guess. And it was making me happy. I was actually enjoying it, so. But problem is I could get totally lost in it for so long. So, and it won't be the same old crops that I keep on putting down. You know, carrots, potatoes, and grain. You know, I could put down little different soybean crops, and oh, you can make milk. You can make cheese. You could get a bunch of milk. Make cream out of it, heavy cream and stuff, and that's how I was making my cream of corn and stuff like that. You know. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm like a foodie. I'm not a foodie. I'm not like one of those stuck-up foodie guys, but I happen to like making my own food and stuff, you know. Or I try. I don't often have the money for food, but you know. Like expensive food, you know. But I like different food types and stuff like that. Okay. I'm gonna put up a few more houses here. You know what? I'm gonna actually put houses on top of the houses that I made here. Okay. I have to go around. Do I? Yes. Okay. Guess I'll have to put a ladder there. Alright. Oh, okay. A staircase. That's all. Just there. That's it. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Now remember, the houses really just need doors. They need doors and a ceiling, basically, to be honest. Okay, wait a minute. And the more doors that are in the thing, the more it's considered a dwelling. That a door has to have a ceiling above it, and I think something blocking it behind it or something like that, like a certain space. And that's considered a dwelling. And you'll get more villages will grow. Yeah, the villages grow. Oh, well, I can't do that. The villages grow according to if they're given food and stuff like that. So, wait a minute. Actually, I am gonna have to do that. Let me see here. Oh, okay, here we go. I gotta do this. Not that. Wood, okay. And here, and then the doorway here. Now remember, the houses don't have to be like comfortable or anything. They don't have to be like awesome houses or anything like that. They just have to be basically a roof, a room, and a door. I'm not even sure they even have to be that, because I think I saw some guy put a just made a like a 20 by 20 room, and just put door after door after door after door after in it, and they were considered valid rooms. And he put like 40 doors in there, so it was considered 40 dwellings or something. I don't want to get that bad. I would actually like to pretend that they're actually rooms, So, I was supposed to put down the brick. Oh well. Okay, good enough. And these people have windows. They don't need to see out. Screw 'em. I wonder if I get a third floor going up here. Yeah, why not? I can get a building right here. Nobody says they have to actually use them, They just have to be there, You know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah, I could put like a doorway here. Right? Then. Okay, I will have to do this though. I didn't totally have to do that, but. Oh no, I'm gonna have to put the doorway here. Okay. But yeah, this is nope. So this will be like this. I had a weird experience today. I went to a firing range for the first time in my life. Where I fire gun and stuff. I'm not like a big gun enthusiast or anything like that. It was just on a whim. And in Massachusetts, you have to go through a lot of stuff to get a gun license, you know. And they make you go through all these. You have to go through a safety training course and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, you know what? I just, you know, I went. And it's actually very fun. I was surprised, and they make you fire live guns and stuff like that. You have to actually fire live ammunition and live guns. So, but I actually had fun. I mean, I'm not. I have to say, I'm not a gun guy. I've never touched a gun in my life. I've never even literally seen one in real life. I mean, well, I've seen one in real life, but I've not. Well, that's okay. That's not true. I've seen guns, but I have not like handled anything. But and they had us have like automatic weapons and a revolver, and it was interesting. I found it. I mean, I wasn't like overly enthralled. I wasn't like, oh my god, I love it. Oh, that's awesome. I found it fascinating, just the various aspects of the. I actually found the designs of the guns interesting. The actually like the parts and stuff like that. The idea of you know, the different pieces of a gun and what pieces make a gun up, and how the kinetic energies and the actually I guess basically the engineering of a gun I found more interesting than anything. I just want to make sure everything has a door here. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and the guys there are like really nice. They were really mellow. They weren't like, you know, I'm not gonna say I hate state troopers and stuff like that, but a lot of times they tend to be sort of dicks, you know, or they can be. Not always, but they can be, you know. And oh, look, there's a little baby person. Like a little baby green guy, useless green guy. I should kill him now. But then the village will start hating me. Oh, there's a little purple guy. Oh, they are being born. Great. But it was my first experience with that, and I was surprised, and I'm an older guy. I mean, I have sort of older. I don't understand sort of a lot of younger guy stuff, like hipster stuff and stuff like that, and this alt-right crap, and it's all sort of confusing to me a little bit, you know. But I lean a little bit, and I've never made any you know, I've never hidden it or anything like that. I mean, I guess I'm like an old guy, like an old father guy, you know. And but I do lean a little bit towards, like liberal things. I guess people should be I mean, I like creativity and artistry and that type of thing, and that if I'm like a 55-45 type of guy. I'm sort of like right in the middle, sort of in the middle, or maybe a little 55, maybe a little bit more progressive, a little 55%. I want to like move forward a little bit, but not like too fast, like I don't like to like have all this crazy stuff going and moving too quickly, and there has to be a sort of a balance and a pullback and that type of thing, and just some rational stuff, like I think sometimes just some conservative rational ideas. And I don't mean conservative like politically conservative. I mean like just a hold back, like a slowdown, like for example, here's an example of it. Like when I was editing, when I was an editor, editors are good editors are generally inherently conservative with language. You don't want language to go crazy out of control and sort of be altering every couple years. Now I don't mean new words like selfie or something like that, but I mean I'm talking about the formation of sentences and things like that, and are what is considered an acceptable word and what is not an acceptable word. You have to sort of, there has to be a sort of generally a governing body that will sort of keep things somewhat conservative so it slowly changes over time, because you don't want it just going crazy and going too quickly, and changing all the time, because then next thing you know, you're reading stuff and you're like, what is this, a real word, or what is this? Is this proper English? There has to be some sort of standard for sort of English, and you sort of err on the conservative sort of side, just a bit, I mean, like, because you don't know, some words, they stick around for a couple of years and disappear, that type of thing. So you're sort of, I find the mostly, like, I don't mean like, and I'm talking about business and I don't want to say this, but stuff like games quote journalists, they're like, to be honest, they're considered a joke among actual journalists and actual editors and stuff like that. They're often considered a joke, because they're considered basically a just a propaganda of video games, really. And there's almost nobody who's considered a games journalist. I mean, what does a games journalist do other than basically? I mean, really, they troll Reddit to see if what what the newest when the newest release date is. Put up some videos like big sites like IGN and stuff like that. Will just they're basically all they're useful for is the like trailer videos and stuff like that, and release dates and stuff, and that's all basically like advertising stuff. There's no investigative journalism or anything like that going on, or barely. You get maybe there might be 4 or 5 guys that are doing that. The vast majority of games they shouldn't be called journalists. They should be called games media relations specialists or something like that, or games intermediaries, some kind of games liaisons or something like that, who are basically getting information from the games companies and relaying that information to customers, and they're not paid. They're generally paid in bylines, which is a sure sign of like you're not when you get paid. When your pay is basically, oh, what put your name on the article? You're at like the high school level. That's like high school level journal. That's like high school level stuff, I'll be honest. And I have taken journalism. It's considered sort of the joke. It's considered a joke, really, of the industry. It's not even up on radar. If you went up to some kind of news, any kind of news guy, if you went up to some guy from the Wall Street Journal and was talking to him, and you said games journalist, he'd laugh at you. They'd just walk away. They wouldn't even, they just don't consider it even a legitimate nothing, For the most part, it isn't. It's just, like I said, a semi-advertising arm of the video game industry, So, where I was talking about now. But, it's like, yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. But just be careful of stuff like that. I mean, and often games journalists are there to, honestly, they're there. Yeah, they're there to sell stuff. They're there generally to help sell stuff. And that doesn't mean they consciously do it. Like, it doesn't mean that they're implicitly helping. But companies use them unconsciously to get the word out, to do stuff, and to, whether they know it or not, they're being basically used as an advertising setup, So, be careful about things like that. But, Oh, look. Oh, oh, there's a monster in there. What are you doing? Oh, get out. You're killing my little people. How'd you get in there? I put a candle in here somewhere. Did he kill my little people? Person? Oh, did he? No, God. Oh, is there more? Do I hear more monsters? There's so many doorways now, I don't know what the hell's going on. But I'll go back and listen to this and see what the hell I was talking about and go back and try to, I need more of these guys. Yeah, I'm gonna start. We need more pumpkin head guys. I'll go back and see what I was talking about. And please do just indulge me. Oh, but I was talking about the, you know, the shooting stuff, and I'm not, the gun thing. No, I'm not a gun advocate. I really don't feel like if you're in a major city, I don't. I think you should let just the police handle stuff. But I also don't think, I also don't think you shouldn't not be able to buy a gun. And now I mean a reasonable gun. I don't mean like some kind of machine gun or something like that. I'm talking about just a shotgun or a rifle. Because there are many people who live in like countrysides and stuff like that who actually use them for day-to-day life. People who are out in the farms and stuff, and up until, you know, the 70s and 80s even, there were people in farms who were, you know, had to like shoot like foxes and stuff like that, who were eating rabbits, who were eating the crops, or foxes and stuff like that. They actually needed a gun, a rifle. Now I don't mean an AR-15 automatic, you know, 300 round, you know, gun, but they needed those things. And sometimes there were very, you know, farms are very, sometimes they're very big land areas. So, you know, police or something like that might not be able to get out to an area like that for like, you know, 25 minutes to 25 or 30 minutes or something like that. But then somebody could have murdered your whole family, you know. And then I'm talking about the United States because of the you just have to remember the breadth of the United States, you know, how big it is. That there are just, you know, there aren't cops within 5 minutes of you. You know, sometimes you have to be careful. And I think urban people, or liberal people, of which I include myself one, sometimes just don't understand. I mean that it's a sort of a different lifestyle there, and they have to live a different way. Some rural areas, and there are a lot of, and for a long time, up until only just fairly recently, people would, you know, farmers would do stuff like shoot deer or something like that for excess, for food, for meat and things like that. They would smoke it, and that would save them, and that could save them hundreds of dollars in food, you know, and in times being tough on farms and stuff, that could really make or break some families, you know. So it was like, so it's not so cut and dried. I think that I think some people just think like, oh, just get rid of guns and everything will be okay. But there are you know, there are certainly some people who are in the areas who need it or could use it. And there's also, and surprisingly, I found that a lot of people seem to be very more adult people seem to be like more responsible. I mean, older people seem to be more responsible with what they're doing with their guns and stuff like that. They seem to be they seem to take care of it and be responsible about it. You know, they're not running it. They're not some 19-year-old kid thinking he's going to be a SWAT member and he's going to join the army and he's going to start shooting people and he can't wait to become a cop and can't wait to join the military and, you know, be a sniper and this type of crap, you know. That type of nonsense. Did I talk to him? Oh, no, I didn't. He's a new guy. So, I mean, you know, it's a lot more complicated than it seems, you know, there's much more nuanced things going on. And I'm a person who's generally against guns. I mean, I really, not all. I mean, I don't think people should not have the right to buy guns. I think they should be able to buy guns. And I'm a Bostonian. I live in Boston. I mean, you know, I live in a major city, and I think you should have more reason if you're gonna in an urban environment. Like, I'm not sure you should have to be running around with a gun so much in like the middle of New York, but you know, certainly anywhere else. I really think people should have the right to be able to do that if they want. I personally don't. I don't plan on buying a gun or having a gun or anything like that. I've never come across anybody with a gun. I mean, like trying to rob me or anything. But I also don't think that it doesn't mean they shouldn't be able to have them. And frankly, sometimes I steer the government nowadays and I wonder, like, you know, I look at sometimes the government and I start thinking, you know what, maybe it's a good idea that people do have guns just in case. You know. It's just different here in like the United States. It's a lot of like police guys and stuff seem to be run like a paramilitary almost. And one of the few things I think that makes them just not go totally overboard is the thought that people could shoot back at them, you know. They won't go crazy because they think that they're very careful that people, you know, so they don't go a little too crazy. I mean, that's just my opinion. So, I mean, you know, you could probably pull up a lot of information showing how I'm wrong, but it's different. Like, it's just the attitude is different in America than in, like, in Britain or something like that, you know. would like it to be that way. I would like it to be, you know. But, I don't know. I mean, it's a difficult issue and that type of thing. But anyway, the point was that I went to that place and I had fun. I had fun. I shot that gun. I had fun. And it was actually sort of fun. And I actually had a good time. And the guys are really nice, and I mean they were really understanding, really understanding. And I thought, what did I do here? Yeah, they were like really understanding and nice. And you know, and I flat out told them I have no idea what I'm doing, so. And they were like really gentle with me and stuff, and you know, and it felt like a nice sort of community type of atmosphere. Yeah, that doesn't mean I think you should run out and start joining a gun club, but you know. I'm just relaying my experience. Will I go back? Probably no, probably not. It was interesting, but no more than that. I wasn't like enthralled with it or anything like that. So. You know, and I'm not enthralled with guns or anything. I don't, you know, I'm not one of those guys, so. But again, it was a nice time. It was a nice time though, so, you know, I you know, I wouldn't say to not do it if you ever had a chance. Yeah, the guys are fairly sweet, and or at least the place I went to. So anyway, I was just relaying to you my weird circumstances. It was a thing that just like came across. It just sort of happened. It came across and happened, and I was like, okay, you know. I was like, all right, whatever. And and it, you know, just telling you what was going on. If you don't know, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, Massachusetts is one of the, I think most people who are gun enthusiasts consider Massachusetts like one of the worst states in the United States for gun ownership. Because you have to like just go through all these hoops to own a gun. They just don't want you to have a gun here. But the police are very, very, very reluctant to give anybody a gun. You know, they want to make sure they have them all for themselves, you know. So, anyway, I've been going on rambling on and everything. And, I don't know how you feel about it, but I mean, you know, please do just, you know, but you know, please don't be bad or anything. It was just of my opinion, you know, I'm an older guy. I'm not going to suddenly start deciding I'm going to, you know, march for gun rights or something, or march against gun rights. You know, to me, it's like going skiing for the first time. You know, it's like, oh, it's interesting. You know, but I'm not going to like go protesting about it or something like that, or I have an opinion either way. You know, really. So, please, if you do hear this, please don't argue with me about stuff like this. I just don't have enough interest in it in order to bother. I mean, you know, I was just telling you something I did over the weekend. Actually, it was today. So, and I just wanted to tell you, if you've never had that kind of experience, that was a, you know, it was not a mean experience. It's a fairly, you know, fairly pleasant experience. I mean, it's all just a nice, fun outing, and not to be all afraid of it or something. I guess I was very apprehensive about it, since I didn't know what I was doing, and then, you know, the guys are very nice and helped me out. So, and I felt very good about it. So, and afterwards, you know. So anyway, that was just something I wanted to tell you about, and I did want to mention, you know, and tell you that I'll be slowing down my videos and all that. And I also just wanted to say, you know, if I ever offended you or anything like that, or in some way, or, you know, got you riled up or whatever, for anything, you know, please forgive me for it, you know. I wanted these videos to be nice, and I didn't want to bring up any. I always tried to avoid bringing up any kind of politics or anything or stuff like that, and except for except for game stuff, yeah, which I would get riled up once in a while, but you know, I still do. But yeah, I want you to be able to listen to these things and just sort of chill and relax, and not start thinking about things that'll. I don't want to remind you of things that'll suddenly start making you think of things that'll make you angry or something like that. You know. That's what the Minecraft was always about. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't. Yeah, I don't want to bring up anything that you're gonna start thinking that'll make you start thinking about stuff that'll piss you off or whatever. You know. Mostly, I guess the only thing I really wanted to that I ever spoke about really was, I guess, game stuff, and usually, and try to think of the things that I say is remember that I'm talking about corporation stuff, like things corporations will do to try to trick you, to get money off you, you know, like, because that's what they do, you know. I mean, it took a long time for me to realize that corporations and countries don't run the way that people do. They just don't. And it's weird because you think, well, countries are made up of people and corporations are made up of people, so they should run like people. They should have they should do things that people do, but they don't. And I'm not going to go into it, but please trust me in that, They will do what is best for them, usually in the short term or the longer term, and regardless of whether or not there's no emotional commitment behind it, like there's no loyalty. There doesn't necessarily need to be rational thought behind it either. If like a country could get something like a really good deal of something and, screw somebody over, screw some other country over, but if the deal is good enough, they'll take it, and what they'll do is they'll try to, smooth things over later with the other country or something, or not even care. Just, it's like, we're gonna get what's good for us, and that's it. And corporations operate basically the same way. I mean, there are some corporations that seem to be owned by some people that want to try to do right. But if you get companies like EA and stuff like that, the bottom line is just money, and they don't, and they don't necessarily make rational decisions like you would think. Well, put out a good product, people will like it, and they'll continue to buy your product, and they'll sort of be more loyal to you and try to buy more of your stuff if if they feel you, like, say if you put out something that wasn't that great, they might go, well, okay, but they've always done sort of some good things in the past, a lot of good things in the past. There's a blip, we'll let it go, we'll still buy some good things, and they're not ripping us off all over the place. I want to be, a good customer towards them or something, and help support them. But companies like EA they don't understand that it has just absolutely no meaning to them. No rational meaning to them whatsoever. That has nothing. That means absolutely zero to them. It's like just a computer cracking out numbers, If this number's higher and that number's higher, then that's the way it goes. This is how we get the higher number, and that's it. That doesn't act like they don't make decisions based the way that people make decisions. And you're gonna come to grips with that at some point. It's both countries and corporations do that. And often you feel ashamed about things like that, and angry, but they're not gonna stop doing it. So anyway, I don't want to leave this in a downer. I will say that I'm going to. I think I might institute that. I'm going to institute that food thing next next episode. I'll show it to you, and if it's too much, you could tell me if you don't like it. I mean, feel free to say, get rid of that crap in the comments, But it's perfect because it works for 112. It doesn't work for 113 or anything. And I tried it out, and it works and stuff. And I could put up a little. It'll be perfect for making a nice little field here with different foods and stuff. And I could put the little pressing machines and stuff like that inside the room here. And I could be making juices and stuff like this and all this type of thing. And I could put all the crazy vegetables and fruits and stuff in there, and it'll be really fun. You'll be able to see some different stuff. And I think it was Pam's Food Craft. So, and I'll try to memorize some of the recipes, like tacos and all kinds of stuff like that. So it's hard. There are so many of them. I think there were like 200 different recipes. So, but hope you didn't mind me rambling too much. And things look good. I mean, I made some good things out of this, so. Okay, anyway, I'll see you in the next episode. I'm not sure when it'll be, but I'll try to keep him at least once a week or something like that, so. But, thank you for joining me on Bunnysays, and I hope you don't mind that this was so long. And I can't believe that. That zombie is still in that thing. I can't believe it. Why? Why are you there? God. Okay, whatever. He's my pet zombie. I'm gonna name him. You know what? Put in the comments. Put it in the comments. That's gonna be a thing. Name him in the comments for me, please. Give him a name. Anyway. Thank you for joining me on Bunnysays, and I'll see you later.